is to understand about a beautiful subject and a very important subject in strategy called Michael Porter's generic strategy. Before getting into Michael Porter's generic strategy, so we have to understand what does a a competitive advantage means for a company. What is competitive advantage? So competitive advantage is how well a firm or an organization is competitive in generating high profits in a particular segment or in a particular product market. That's called competitive advantage. Let me give you an example of Apple. How well is Apple competitive versus their competitors in a smartphone market? In a smartphone market, and how profitable is that particular company defines the level of competitiveness for any company. If we take some two different companies which has uh, the revenue which is same and the cost have some X particular cost and generating a gross margin or profit some X particular dollar. If this company wanted to be profitable, so either it has to play with the cost or it has to play with the revenue. The company which plays in reducing the cost is going to be the cost competitive and getting into the cost leadership. So for the same revenue of $100, before the cost was 50, the company was generating a profit of 50. Now the company has reduced the cost to 40, so thereby increasing the profitability to 60. So this particular company is a cost focused company, or we call as a cost leader. The next possibility for a company is they wanted to increase the price. They wanted to increase the price so the revenue goes up. So the revenue increases. So this particular company, which increases the revenue, thereby pushes the profitability up, is called a differentiator, a company with a differentiator. So the Porter's generic strategy, Michael Porter, the professor of Harvard School, suggested the strategy has two particular dimensions. One is the scope, the other one is a source. The scope is company A, whether it is Apple or Airbus or IBM, it can decide to work on a wider market, or it can decide to be it can decide to work on a narrow market. In the same way, these companies of any size or any product or any category, they can decide to choose to be a leader in cost. So the cost leadership or they decide to be a differentiator. By putting these two dimensions, the combination of scope and source has helped Mr. Porter to come out with a strategy called Porter's generic strategy. So this goes the wide market here, this is narrow market here, the cost goes here, and the differentiator goes here. So this particular quadrant will be overall differentiator. This will be overall cost focused company. This will be a cost leader. This will be a differentiator. Differentiator focus, or you can say cost focus. To give an example of some of the companies here, overall differentiator is easy, anybody will understand. For example, Apple is an overall differentiator company. Mercedes-Benz is an overall differentiator company, and as well as Louis Vuitton is an overall differentiator company. So these companies focus on being a differentiator on a wide market. What about an example of cost companies? Or let's go down, let's go vertically down. What are those companies which are claimed to be a differentiator focus? So for example, Ferrari is a differentiator focus company. For example, Ducati bike is a differentiator company because it focuses on a very narrow market and gives the differentiation in terms of product category, service, quality, thereby creating a competitive advantage. Let's see the overall cost market. Here, for example, Amazon is overall cost company. Dell Computers is overall cost company. So they also go on a very wide market and a very cost competitive product, creating a competitiveness and becoming a cost leader. And here in a cost focused market, for example, the supermarket like Edley, so these companies are very narrow, focused, giving a cost competitive advantage to the consumers, thereby increasing its profitability. So having seen this the theory of what is competitive advantage and generic strategy in the context of Mr. Michael Porter's generic strategy, now the question comes is what a firm should, or in other words, I would say, what are 3 strategic questions a firm should ask, any company should ask? The first one is where to compete, where to play. The second one is what is our value proposition. What it means is why anybody should buy our product or services. The third one is how well are our resources to achieve our objective. if we have if we have if we have a clear answer for these three questions, then a company can claim that they have a clear understanding of the strategy for the firm. This is a short lesson on strategy, and thank you for watching.